I used to think I was good with money, not exceptional, not disciplined in any impressive way, just fine. I paid my bills on time, I didn't max out credit cards, and nothing ever felt out of control. In my head, that was enough to qualify as being financially responsible. The uncomfortable truth is that I hadn't actually checked whether that belief was true. I would occasionally open my bank app, glance at the balance, and if the number wasn't worrying, I would close it again. That was the extent of my management. As long as there was money left and nothing urgent demanded attention, I assumed I was in control. For months, I avoided looking any deeper, not conscious but consistent, because as long as I didn't examine the details, I could keep believing the overall picture was solid. In my mind, my spending was organized. I told myself I didn't spend that much. Subscriptions were small, food was just normal life. The occasional takeaway or Amazon purchase didn't feel excessive. Nothing looked dramatic enough to raise concern. Assumptions are comfortable that they stay general, they don't force precision. Reality, on the other hand, does. One day, I downloaded 3 months of bank statements and decided to categorize everything: rent, food, transport, subscriptions, online purchases, coffee, takeaway. Individually, nothing shocked. There was no single reckless purchase that made me think, what was I doing? What surprised me was the repetition. £8 here, 12 there, $19.99 each month. Another small charge that felt insignificant at the time. None of it felt irresponsible, but when I added it all together, it wasn't small. That was the moment something shifted. I realized I hadn't been managing my money at all. I had simply been reacting to it. As long as the account balance didn't approach zero, I interpreted that as evidence of control. It wasn't control, it was a lack of awareness disguised as stability. The first emotion I felt wasn't motivation. It wasn't excitement about fixing anything. It was discomfort, a quiet awareness that I should have looked sooner. There was a brief moment of defensiveness, a thought that maybe it wasn't that bad. But numbers are difficult to argue with. They don't exaggerate, they don't criticize, they just present what is there. And once I saw the total clearly, I couldn't return to vague assumption. Interestingly, nothing external changed that day. My income stayed the same. My fixed expenses stayed the same, but my behavior started to shift almost immediately. Before, a small purchase felt harmless because it existed in isolation. After, it existed in context. Instead of thinking, it's only £15, I found myself thinking, I already know where this month stands. That awareness altered my decisions without any dramatic rules or restrictions. I didn't need a new app. I didn't need a complicated budgeting system. I simply needed visibility. Most people don't have a spending problem as much as they have an awareness problem. Those are not the same thing. You cannot adjust what you have not clearly seen. The exercise itself is simple. Download the last 3 months of statement, create basic category, add the totals, then look at them calmly and without judgment. Not to criticize yourself, not to feel guilty, just to replace assumption with fact. Clarity does something subtle but powerful. It removes guesswork. It replaces vague confidence with informed choice. And once that shift happens, your decisions begin to change naturally. Next week, I'll talk about what I adjusted after seeing those numbers, because noticing the leaks is only the first step. Acting on them is the second, but none of that happens until you are willing to look.